Why does the word cult have a negative connotation to it? I mean, really? Religion has been around since forever and doesn't really have much controversy or negativity surrounding it. And if you think about it, all religions are cults. So by that logic, not all religious cults are bad. But what if the cult isn't religious? Can we still say they're bad? The game Shadow of the Colossus is about 2 decades old and is very popular. So you would assume everything about the game is discovered, right? Well, more than a decade ago, a group insisting there was more to the game formed. The thread lasted from 2007 to 2016. The most accurate description of this small group is probably a cult, showing everyone that denies their efforts, and they insist that diving deeper is not a waste of time. This was probably not the case, but they kept trying to find something new in this decade-long game, hoping for something. What they were hoping for was a new colossus. The thread lasted about a decade, only for no new colossus to be found. But there is a post on the thread which basically sums up every cult. This post was in response to someone who believes the whole search was a waste of time.
If you want to believe it, don't come to the thread. It's the same thing with a church. If you don't believe in God, don't come. No one wants you here if you're just going to say, proof, proof, I want proof. Just leave the ones who want to search for the secret search. Whether or not it exists, it does not matter. They have something to believe in, and that is all they need. If you think the secret seekers are wasting their time, then that is nice for you. Goodbye.
They had something to believe in, and that is all they need. My theory on why cults have a bad reputation is because of certain individuals. The definition of a cult is where one individual controls a big group of people. This group of people will listen to anything the individual says. The cult leader, as you will. In religion, this is God or some holy book. In the Shadow of the Colossus, it was the belief in some big secret. The funny thing is, that cult only formed because the game was unfinished. There were all these hints to a big secret when there never was. In the modern day, these cults are in charge of get-rich-quick schemes, insisting anyone who follows them can make it big. All you have to do is pay a large sum of money, even worse, monthly, to get access to a money printing machine. But it doesn't have to be money. It can be anything. Weight loss, love, crypto. You can basically make a cult around anything these days. Anyone can fall for this no matter how logical they are. Obviously there's no money printing machine. Obviously the matrix doesn't exist. Obviously there are no pickup lines I can say to get anyone I want. And obviously I can't fix my life for paying someone monthly. If something's too good to be true, it probably is. But people can still fall for this if you say it to them at the right place at the right time. Night in the Woods is not that scary of a game. But for some, it's the scariest game there can be. The town you're in is dying. Your parents spent a lot of money for you to go to school. And what did you do? You dropped out. You wasted your life doing nothing. A truly horrific experience. At some point in the game, you find a cult. This cult believes they could save the town and restore it to its former glory. All they need is a few human sacrifices. These sacrifices consist of children with no future. They sacrifice the young to keep their future. Or that is what they believe. They have something to believe in, and that is all they need. There is this genre of YouTube called self-improvement. This genre is where people give life advice to younger people. It's good advice. Go into the gym, read books, improve your social skills. This is not a cult. The problem comes where you listen to everything they say without really having your own experiences to back them up. The worst cults are the ones where you don't think they are cults. They disguise themselves. They slowly make you invest in them until they want something from you. I have something to admit. The first video on this channel were not video essays. They were self-improvement videos. I know, and I apologise. You can unsubscribe now. I made them because a guy called Hamza told me to. Since I deleted my old videos, let me recreate them for you. Don't smoke, guys, it's very bad for you. Don't smoke. Just imagine me saying that, but 100 times worse. It wasn't just me who made this channel. There were hundreds, maybe thousands of more people like me who made their channels with me. Then I had the thought, what qualifies me to give life advice when I haven't even lived much life yet? Do you know how wrong that sounds? Teenagers giving life advice? Not only did Hamza tell us to make videos, he told us to make videos about him, because that would get us more views. Which is not wrong, it's just not sustainable. He told us we would get successful making these videos. I can't help comparing that to the experience with the cult in Night in the Woods. Although no one died, I lost sight of myself. And the people in this cult did as well. He sacrificed the young for his future. And, weird for me to say, I was the lucky one. I realised that he wasn't better than me. But the 12 to 18 year olds that don't realise this are probably paying monthly to his course. 200 quid precisely. They have something to believe in, and that is all they need. You know what? Maybe dying is better than paying this charlatan 200 quid a month. But anyway, at that point in my life, I was lost and wanted someone to tell me what to do. Hamza promised that to me. He gave me hope. But little did I realise everyone goes through this phase in life. Maybe that's why people believe in God. God gives advice that stood for thousands of years, and will probably make you live a better, more fitting life. God doesn't benefit anyway from you following him. He might get the ego boost. That's about it. Hamza basically positions himself as God. A God you have to follow if you want to be successful. A God that contradicts himself. A God that is no better than you or me. Hamza is in this limbo where he can't give you too good advice so you don't stop relying on him, and too bad advice where you doubt his claims. My advice to you, don't follow Hamza. Follow the Bible. Or something that doesn't benefit from selling something to you. To all the skeptics that say God doesn't exist, you are probably right. But if you think about it, society won't function if we don't believe in things. The human brain was not made to comprehend how insignificant we are in this universe. Because if we were, we would realise that there is no point in anything. In Night in the Woods, the town is dying. The town probably won't exist in a few years. The cult formed to delay that process. Maybe even bring it back to its glory days. Sacrificing the young for the future of the adults. I can't help but compare the two. They both sacrifice the young for the future. Their future. Although Hamza is not the only person that does this, he's someone I fell for. Hope is the driving force behind the continued existence of humankind. People who sell hope are the worst ones. Hope can make anyone do anything. Hope is the reason we keep living. No one should decide how you should live your life, or where you should put your money. But they should guide you. Many of Hamza's followers did the former, and that is dangerous. If you have not gathered already, no one should spend 200 quid a month for his course. Especially from a guy that says this.
Would you penetrate yourself? If you wouldn't sleep with yourself, why would some other girl be so excited to sleep with you?
And this.
20% of men are literally coming on their wall. Like 20% of men, they fap and they don't nut into tissues. They literally just do it all over the floor and the bed sheets. Like the bottom 20% of men are wall comers.
Even this.
Start going to sleep, tape in your mouth. So I go to sleep every single night with a little bit of tape like this just over my lips.
People look up to him. I think that is bad. I'm not saying looking up to people is bad. I have huge YouTubers I look up to. And in fact, my channel was made because of them. But Hamza is different. You see, in his videos there are two recurring characters. Jeffrey, who is the loser, and Adonis, who is not. He is the ideal man. Adonis can attract any girl. He can lift boulders. Every woman wants him, and every man wants to be him. In his videos he implies that he is Adonis, while you are a Jeffrey. But little do people realise, you'll never become Adonis. He is, in fact, fictional. He profits from the vulnerable, he feeds off the young. A way you can control someone is to break them down, tell them everything they're doing is wrong. Hamza does this by calling you a Jeffrey. Then he rebuilds you back up, as a cult follower, saying you can become Adonis. But I believe his content has shifted recently to business. He went from helping young people to wasting their money. But his fans should not get all the blame. I mean, they have something to believe in, and that is all they need. The flaw in his logic is that he is not Adonis. He never can be, and he never will be. If you go to Hamza's comment section, you can see how much influence he has on other people, most of which are probably young, using their mum's credit cards to buy his course. To control a generation, you must control the youth. Hitler said that. Humans are not as logical as we think they are, and I believe that is our greatest illusion. The trap we fall into is thinking that we are logical creatures. Humans are not logical creatures, because if we were, we would be able to realise what we do from day to day is meaningless. If something happens outside your logic, you try to justify your mistakes and invent a new rule that logic follows. That is the foundation of science. Anything can be a cult, but the worst ones are the ones that disguise themselves. Do you think Adonis would watch self-improvement videos in his life? Do you think Adonis will watch Hamza? Will Adonis make his own life choices? People change. The ones you respected a few years ago may not hold to your expectations now. I followed Hamza when he had 40,000 subscribers, but now he's changed, and for the worse. The problem with life advice is you haven't really lived enough life to determine whether they are accurate. And it's people like these who make the word cult have a bad connotation. I will admit, Hamza pre 100k had some of the best videos on the platform. The greatest illusion humanity was made to believe is that we are logical creatures. And to all the Hamza followers, we all want to be perfect. So perfect in fact that we hide our insecurities from each other. But we forget. Perfection don't make us human. Imperfections do. You can try to be perfect. You can try to be Adonis. But you will never succeed. Adonis doesn't exist. But maybe you find fulfillment in that journey, and that's fine. But don't let anyone tell you how you should live your life. In my opinion, Iroh from Avatar is the ideal man. People in cults are generally closed-minded people, only finding evidence to support their claims while ignoring the rest. And the one thing the world does need more of is closed-minded people. Hamza went from helping young people to harming them. He sacrifices the young for his future. Not all cults are bad, just some cults are worse than others.
And would you penetrate yourself?